Ant colonies are often described as superorganisms because they exhibit highly coordinated behaviors that resemble the functioning of a single organism, with individual ants acting like cells or organs working together for the colony's survival. This collective behavior, including decision-making, emerges from the interactions of individual ants following simple rules, yet it produces complex adaptive outcomes that mimic the integrated processing of a brain. Below, I'll explain in detail how ant colonies function as superorganisms, focusing on their collective decision-making and how it resembles a single brain. 1. What is a superorganism? A superorganism is a group of individual organisms that function as a unified entity with division of labor and coordinated behaviors that prioritize the colony's survival over individual needs. In ant colonies, individual ants are highly specialized, performing specific roles, e.g., foraging, nest maintenance, defense, brood care, that contribute to the colony's overall success. The colony operates as a single unit, with no single ant directing operations, much like how a brain coordinates bodily functions without a single neuron being in charge. Key features of a superorganism: division of labor. Different ants, e.g., workers, soldiers, queens, have specialized roles. Decentralized control. No central leader. Decisions emerge from local interactions. Collective goals. The colony prioritizes survival, reproduction, and resource allocation. Homeostasis. The colony maintains internal stability, e.g., temperature regulation, food distribution, like an organism. 2. Collective decision-making in ant colonies. Ant colonies make decisions, such as choosing nest sites, foraging paths, or responding to threats, through decentralized collective processes. These decisions arise from the interactions of many ants following simple behavioral rules, without any single ant having a complete overview of the situation. This process is analogous to how neurons in a brain process information in parallel to produce coherent decisions. Mechanisms of collective decision-making. The following mechanisms enable ant colonies to make decisions that resemble the integrated processing of a brain. A. Chemical communication, pheromones. Ants communicate primarily through pheromones, chemical signals that influence behavior. For example, when a forager finds food, it lays down a pheromone trail on its way back to the nest. Other ants detect and follow this trail, reinforcing it if they also find food. This creates a positive feedback loop, where stronger trails attract more ants, leading to efficient exploitation of resources. If a food source depletes, the trail weakens, negative feedback, redirecting ants elsewhere. This resembles neurosignaling in a brain, where stronger signals, like repeated firing of neurons, reinforce certain pathways, guiding behavior. B. Quorum sensing when choosing a new nest site, e.g., during colony relocation. Ants use a process called quorum sensing. Scout ants explore potential sites and assess their quality, e.g., size, safety. If a site meets certain criteria, scouts recruit others to evaluate it, often via tandem running, guiding another ant to the site. Once a sufficient number of ants, a quorum, agree on a site, the colony commits to moving there. This threshold-based decision-making ensures the colony selects high-quality sites without every ant needing to evaluate every option. This is analogous to a brain reaching a decision when enough neurons fire in sync to cross a threshold, triggering an action. C. Distributed information processing. No single ant has complete information about the colony's needs or environment. Instead, information is distributed across many ants, and decisions emerge from their interactions. For example, when defending against a threat, soldier ants respond to local cues, e.g., alarm pheromones, while workers may evacuate brood or repair the nest. The colony's response is coordinated without a central planner, much like how a brain processes sensory inputs in parallel across neural networks. D. Task allocation and flexibility. Ants switch tasks based on colony needs, a process driven by local cues and interactions. For instance, if many foragers die, nest-bound workers may switch to foraging based on reduced pheromone signals or fewer interactions with foragers. This dynamic task allocation resembles how a brain reallocates resources, e.g., attention or energy, to different tasks based on changing priorities. Examples of collective decision-making, foraging, optimization. Argentine ants, Linepithema humili, create efficient foraging trails by reinforcing pheromone paths to the best food sources. If a shorter path is discovered, ants naturally shift to it, optimizing resource collection without centralized planning. Nest site selection. In rock ants, Temnothorax spp, scouts evaluate potential nest sites and use quorum sensing to select the best one. Experiments show colonies consistently choose sites with optimal features, e.g., small entrances, large cavities, even though individual ants only assess partial information. Thermoregulation. In some species, ants maintain nest temperature by collectively moving brood to warmer or cooler areas, responding to local temperature gradients. This mirrors how an organism regulates body temperature. 3. How collective decision-making resembles a single brain. The analogy between an ant colony and a brain lies in their shared ability to process information and make decisions through distributed parallel processes. Here's a detailed comparison. A. Decentralized processing. Brain. Neurons process information locally, firing based on inputs from other neurons. Decisions, e.g., moving a limb, emerge from the collective activity of many neurons, with no single neuron controlling the outcome. Ant colony. Individual ants respond to local cues, e.g., pheromones, physical contact, and interact with nearby ants. Colony-level decisions, e.g., choosing a foraging path, emerge from these interactions, with no single ant in charge. B. Emergent behavior. Brain. Complex behaviors like problem-solving arise from simple neural rules, e.g., Hebbian learning. Neurons that fire together, wire together. No neuron understands the big picture, yet the brain produces coherent outcomes. Ant colony. Complex colony behaviors like efficient foraging or nest defense arise from simple rules, e.g., follow the strongest pheromone trail. No ant understands the colony's overall needs, yet the colony acts as a unified entity. C. Robustness and adaptability. Brain. The brain is robust to damage, e.g., neuroplasticity allows it to rewire after injury, and adapts to new environments by learning. Ant colony. Colonies are robust to the loss of individuals, e.g., new workers replace dead ones, and adapt to environmental changes, e.g., shifting foraging paths when food sources change. This resilience comes from decentralized control, where no single ant is critical. D. Feedback mechanisms. Brain. Neural networks use feedback loops, e.g., excitatory and inhibitory signals, to stabilize or amplify responses, ensuring balanced decision-making. Ant colony. Pheromone trails and quorum sensing create feedback loops that amplify good decisions, e.i.e. reinforcing a productive foraging path, or dampen poor ones, e.g. abandoning a weak trail. E. Parallel processing. Brain. Different brain regions process sensory inputs, motor outputs, and memory simultaneously, integrating them to produce coordinated behavior. Ant colony. Different ants perform tasks of foraging, brood care, defense in parallel, with their actions integrated through communication, e.g., pheromones, physical contact, to achieve colony goals. 4. Biological basis of superorganism behavior. The superorganism concept is rooted in the evolutionary biology of eusocial insects like ants. Key factors enabling this behavior include genetic relatedness. In many ant species, workers are closely related, often sisters. So their altruistic behaviors, e.g., sacrificing themselves for the colony, are favored by kin selection. This ensures that individual actions benefit the colony's shared genes. Caste specialization. Physical and behavioral differences among castes, e.g., workers, soldiers, queens, allow efficient division of labor, like organs in a body. Chemical and tactile communication. Pheromones, antennal touching, and trophallaxis, food sharing, enable rapid information exchange, coordinating colony activities. 5. Limitations of the brain analogy. While the superorganism concept is compelling, there are differences. Physical structure. A brain has a fixed structure, neurons connected by synapses, while an ant colony is more fluid, with ants moving freely and interacting variably. Timescale, neural processing occurs in milliseconds, while ant colony decisions, e.g., nest relocation, can take hours or days. Consciousness. Brains produce consciousness in humans, but ant colonies lack subjective awareness, relying purely on instinct and emergent behavior. 6. Real-world implications and research. The study of ant colonies as superorganisms has inspired fields like swarm intelligence, where algorithms mimic ant behavior to solve problems, e.g., optimizing delivery routes, network design. For example, the ant colony optimization, ACO, algorithm, inspired by pheromone-based foraging, is used in computer science for solving complex optimization problems. Research also explores how ant colonies balance exploration and exploitation. For instance, studies on Argentine ants show how they balance exploring new food sources with exploiting known ones, a principle that mirrors decision-making trade-offs in brains and artificial systems.